Hello, today I have a message called What You and All Already Are. Pretty sure that's similar to the one I had yesterday, but oh well. Today is one of those days where I had to, there was some delaying before I sat down to do this, and I just went into this space where I was thinking, I can't think of what I would possibly have to say. I just can't believe that I would have anything to say. And then let's see if I do have something to say. But inevitably, when I sit down to do this, it just flows. And I wonder, why did I take the time to doubt? But I guess, you have to let doubt arise and address it and set it down and move on. Can't just stuff it down. You gotta let it peep its head out if it still seems to be present and affecting basically every decision that gets made or every view that you have of everyone and everything. You gotta let it peep its head out and see what it is that's been trying to run the show. So yeah, I took a moment or several moments to do that first. Okay, so no matter what limits you attempt to place upon something, the unlimited is always here. So that's our foundation, our canvas. That's what will never change. The unlimited. And the ego doesn't really have ways to trap the unlimited or make the unlimited not be present. It's my willingness to look away from the unlimited, that which extends forever, that which never changes, which is utterly stable, utterly sane, that which is kindness itself. Ego can distract me and get me to look away from it by saying, hey, over here, look at this over here. And that's really all it can do. The ego can't do anything real at all. It can just play with distractions, get my attention, juggle distractions, and it's very good at that. It's the result of a powerful mind. We have a powerful mind, and so ego makes powerful illusions. But when I begin to see that's all it can do, just be very good at distracting, then the importance of bringing the focus back to the unlimited, not having any prior concepts, just coming back to that place and allowing it and putting it in charge. That feels more important than ever. And it doesn't have to be in a particular way with a particular method. Although if you need methods, particular methods will come to you. It's just more about recognizing where we truly are, which is not aware. And ego, of course, is going to look at this I don't know what to say about it, this power, and see nothing. It sees nothingness there because there aren't any distractions in it. And so it will fight. It will fight to make us something of something and to put our attention on it. But we can feel that fight. And so when we're very tired of that, feeling that inner fight, and we instead just relax down into what we are together, what everything is together with no competing for attention, and we allow that for a moment, then we don't go fully back to Distractionville again, because having this stable, very kind, very loving foundation, which you cannot lose, right? It's not something we'd want to lose the awareness of. Okay, everyone has the ability to call upon the undoing of any strife. I'm looking at this and I feel like there's a way I'm supposed to approach it so there isn't misunderstanding. It isn't the job of the separate ego to go about undoing strife. But if you step back into the one self we are, and if you notice there's been a decision made to experience and view strife, and there's something behind that, or we could say prior to that decision, that is the stability we think we need and don't have anytime there seems to be excuse me, an illusion of instability. By understanding that the instability is the illusion, and that I originally wanted that illusion, that distraction, then there doesn't have to be any forcing away of particular things, but rather a willingness to allow what isn't here to pass away. I'm not going to get anything out of it. It doesn't benefit me or anyone else in any way. We can allow it to pass away. So this is it. I get the sense it's so easy for me to approach it in the wrong way and to mislead in the way I talk about this. So I'm trying to go very deep. If I'm seeing strife, I wanted strife. And that's not a blame thing, it's like a very practical approach. And any reactiveness to the strife is making an illusion real. And ... still there is guidance. But it's harder to get to the guidance if I'm standing on a reactive platform, being very loud. So still there is guidance. It's the guidance of thought. Thought seems to come in. That thought may lead to just a perspective. That thought may lead to action. It may lead to speech. We don't know, so we can't come in with a prior conception. Saying things must happen. Doing things must happen. There has to be a fix. That insistence, that urgency, that insistence. It's almost like we have to get behind that or prior to that to get into the space where what's truly helpful and not struggling, not fighting, what's calm and loving. More and more I see love is very, very calm, very still. Yet capable in this world of appearing very dynamic. Whatever it needs to appear as. It's like I have to get off this reactive platform, this struggling platform, this fighting platform, this analyzing and deciding platform. I have to get off that to kind of submerge in what is truly here. And then allow what's truly here, which is you, it is me. It is the true nature of everything we see. Then we allow that into the foreground. What are we so afraid of that we'd rather have this busy, conflicting, struggling cacophony in the foreground rather than a very strong awareness of our connectedness and of how actually, as we all are in our true nature, how calm and peaceful we are as one. As one. You can't break us apart from each other, not really. But we can get distracted by the idea that this is possible and that one could be in opposition to another. And then we just keep seeing that distraction over and over in different forms. But if I look at anyone or anything and I see within it the true nature we share, and that true nature, it's the ability to call upon the undoing of any strife. And that's not a person saying like, I decree that this change and this be over with. That's more like a struggle against. But just understanding that it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to see who you aren't. And it's right here to see who you are in everyone and everything. It's unnecessary to see who you aren't. That can be allowed to pass away because it's not serving any helpful purpose. And it's entirely possible, and it's right here to see the true nature of who you are in everyone and everything. And we're still pretty enmeshed in walking through the world, judging, analyzing, defending, right? But this shows us what we can relax down into and what we can allow. Okay. You make personalities to be distractions. So if we think of ourselves at our crafting tables, right? We make an ego for ourselves and we make an ego for everyone we call other. And that's a defensive action. And if I make an ego for you, then I make a separate entity. And then this ego over here thinks it knows what it's dealing with and it knows how to deal with you. And it's either going to try to extract something from you to get, or to build up a wall to protect. I'm going to try to get over there and get, or I'm going to put up a wall and try to protect. And we can feel both of these things. But when we recognize our shared eternal nature, then there's no need to try to grab and get. And there's no need to try to even pour out special blessings upon someone in a place that's coming from anxiety. Easier said than done when it seems that we're in a very intense situation. But in these quiet moments when we can notice that we make the personalities to be distractions, and we can't encounter anything but thought made physical. And underneath all the seeming different personalities is the same thing, the same safe thing, the same beneficial thing. It's a whole lot of sameness. But the ego would have us running toward things and running away from things and bouncing off and reacting. And if we take that moment to just be still and acknowledge, sameness is the reality here. And I have no idea what that means for my character in the next moment. Whatever the character is supposed to be doing or saying, I don't know. I can feel what it feels like to run off of memory and defense. I'm very familiar with that. And as I go through this this work, I really see how it's like a habitual running on memory and defense and trying to carve out a separate peace and safety for myself. It seems to be so prominent that I have no idea how it could be transformed. But I do have this one thing. I have this ability to look and notice. And that's very powerful, and everyone has that same ability. So we just start there. We just start where we can, and we continue from there. And if it looks like someone has a whole lot of flash and attention and I'm trying to approach this in an accurate way, thus the pause. We can mislead ourselves with that. We easily forget the sameness. Especially when it seems that it looks as if that other has put a whole lot of effort into stepping out to be not the same. You know, I have this, I've got it, follow me. How to talk about it without judging someone as the other when they're not other. That's what I'm kind of reaching in for. They're not other. The kindest thing I could do for them would be not to follow their surface, but to look deep within them and rest with what they are now. Maybe they won't be getting their way. You know, they think it would be great for them if maybe lots of people gave them lots of money. I don't know. I don't know what the example's supposed to be. But instead I stop and see them as they are for a moment. And that's totally equal with me, and it's a very deep place. It's a very still place. And I'm not analyzing their character, right? I'm just recognizing, hello, friend. What you're up to has no consequence to me, but what you are is everything to me, because it's what I am. That's what I'm being advised to do in daily life. And it's a very quiet hello, friend. It's not one that's voiced in words. It's just a way of looking. And as much as I learn the way of looking, I also learn how distracted I get. And when I'm in a state of disturbance, how I've allowed that distraction. And that's okay, because what's a day for? A day is for starting again. So today we get to start again as many times as we need to. And no one's a special threat. And I want to say this because I feel that it's true, but I also feel that it's not true. No one's a special benefit. I think we can, because we chase uselessly after what we believe to be special benefits. And it seems that the one who seems to hold the special benefit is encouraging that, is saying, hey, come here, feed off me, I've got your stuff. Give me stuff and I'll give you stuff, and it's stuff, and it's stuff, and it's stuff. And of course, foreseeing it, that's an illusion we ourselves made. So we don't have to make a big deal out of it. But what can we learn from it? We can feel how that feels. That exchange. Like, I give to you from almost a high anxiety place. And you receive from me from like a desperate grabby, give it to me, I need it, right? When really the resource all of us are is just here. deeply for everyone all the time. And of course it's free for the taking because you already have it. You don't really take it from someone else. It's just in you and it's in them equally. So then when we go back up to the surface and we see all this giving and taking, it's a misperception. That's the misperception, my misperception. So instead of trying to analyze it or comment on it or say this seeming snatching and throwing at, I grab it or I throw it at you, right? On the surface has a particular quality or belongs to a particular one, just looking underneath it to acknowledge the reality of, well, how are we really as beings? Forget what the persons seem to be up to. That's the distraction. How are we really as beings? And that's always a big, do I want to say relief? I know I have lots of pauses here today. Maybe that's why I doubted if I would have anything to say, because I am having to reach past the dysfunction of seeing things as separate. To seemingly reach a little bit deeper and try to let words, which are separate things, seem to be do the work of conveying that. Okay. The peace of God is always here and under the surface. So what can be more here than what is actually here? And what can be more distracting than an illusion? What can be more of a cause of a reaction that holds some sort of tension? Whether you're thrilled or dismayed, it's kind of the same drug. The peace of God would never cause that. A reaction. The peace of God reminds us of our very, very deep, deep power that we all share, that's present right here, right now. And it is really the only thing there is. And all this illusion thing I've made isn't even here to be seen. That's why it's such a trick. And somehow I seem to be seeing it and experiencing it. And it's a trick. That's the trick. But here within us all is the peace of God. And the happiness and joy that comes from that is the happiness and joy of this deep connected power. Not getting hit with a stimulant. We might be very good at imagining stimulants that seem to hit us or inject us with a good feeling. And apologies if I'm about to speak gobbledygook, because this feels like new territory for me. And apologies if I get into analysis, because again, I feel like I'm invited to speak on something that feels a little bit like judgment. So I already feel like I've taken one step astray. I gotta take a moment to align. Alright, I'll do my best with this. The idea of manifesting, if it's based on the idea that the world of illusion I made is going to make me happy and can make me happy, I mean, that's fine, because we play in our playground until we understand that the playing makes us really sad. Once we stop playing so hard, it's just sad. It's just sadness. Deep sadness. But we can cover it up with an illusion of energy, success, happiness. And if we've trained ourselves to make a stimulant, here's where I definitely know I don't know what I'm talking about, so that means I'm probably right. Because the less I interfere, the better. Make the stimulant, and we keep, it's like a feedback loop or something. We make the illusion, and the illusion seems to stimulate us positively. So we keep getting these hits of this thing, but it's like it's a drug addiction. But we've become really good at the drug addiction and staying in the high instead of in the low. But the high and the low are the same thing. And then totally separate from it is the peace of God. Because one's real and one's not. And thank God, the peace of God is shared with everybody right now. Everybody has it fully. So fully. That's where I want to get down on my knees and give thanks. Oh, thank goodness nobody lost it. Thank goodness it's still here. I feel such relief over that. But if I'm over here doing a magic trick called a success that is mine but is not yours, and I'm showing how well I can juggle, and I'm juggling, maybe I have a physical appearance that looks healthy and happy, and I have a lot of wealth, and I myself am believing that the wealth makes me happy, the physical appearance makes me happy, the various accomplishments I have and I can demonstrate make me happy. I'm high on my own juice, right? And I keep producing my own juice, taking my own juice, getting a high from it, a high. Lots of moments of having this high. Yes, there will be lows when I know I need my own juice again, and I got to keep making it and taking it, and I get these highs and these highs and these highs, and it almost seems like I'm happy. They'll say that's a happy person. But what I don't understand is that the highs and the lows are the same thing. And it seems like one I want, one I would prefer. Who wouldn't prefer a comfortable financial situation or wealth over having no money and seeming to have to struggle? Who wouldn't prefer a physical appearance that seems to cause no despair within you versus a physical appearance that seems to cause every despair? Who wouldn't prefer? Who wouldn't prefer? But this high and this low are the same drug that says you're separate. And you can have something someone else can't. And we can get addicted to the lows too. We loop in the lows. And it seems like the ones that are looping in the high juice, I get lots of happy stimulant, are superior or better off than the ones who are looping in the low juice. But it's really the same juice. It's like two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. But the great relief of that temptation to stay stuck where we are, either desperately grasping for the successful life appearance and trying to loop in the happy juice and have a happiness that someone else doesn't have right now. And I don't know where that sentence is going because I forgot how I started it. So there's the high, there's the low. But totally separate from that is just what we share all the time. What we share all the time is actual happiness. And the ego doesn't know how to look upon it. It's either going to completely ignore it or fight like hell against it. Because once I've stepped out of the cycle of looping in the low or looping in the high, or bouncing back and forth, I'm not on that juice anymore. I'm just acknowledging what's here. And sort of drawing from that. That's the resource to draw upon. And when I draw upon what's here for everybody, or you, it's not just an I thing, I highlight it for everybody. I like show this vast pool of resource that's here for everyone. And it may seem at first that none of this is noticeable at all. And that's okay. That's the time when we have faith. When we draw on the resource that's here for everyone, no matter what they've been looping in, doesn't matter. And then we see everyone all around us. There are mirrors. They're drawing from this resource too. Now here we are together, clear-eyed, open-eyed, looking at each other, not judging. Because there's nothing to judge. And this will sound boring to the ego. But there's something within us that is trying to get this peace by looping in the highs and lows. Whether you're consistently high, consistently low, or bouncing back and forth, it's the same looping in the same juice. And meanwhile, completely separate from that, because never the twain shall meet, ego and spirit, right, is the peace of God. It's just here. It's just for everyone. And I'm never, in this world I've imagined, I'm never going to get to the point where I loop in the high juice so consistently, giving myself stimulant after stimulant after stimulant, that from a sense of what I think is compassion, I want everybody to loop in the high juice. I want to give it to everybody, right? I'm never going to be able to do that. That's not going to be possible in my imagined world, because my imagined world depends on pain and pleasure. Same thing. The high juice and the low juice are the same thing. I'm never going to be able to do that. Let's get into this ideal and then share the ideal with everybody, and then everybody will be happy. I'm never going to be able to spread that fakery in that way. That's not going to happen, because the whole thing depends on pain. But what I am going to be able to do, because it's what exists right now, is see that the peace of God, which is happiness, is what is within everyone. It is present. It can expand. It can, when invited, show itself to us. But it seems very small and very quiet right now. Maybe it just needs an invitation. When I'm busy trying to get my stimulants, when I'm busy looping, I'm not inviting. So resting and quiet, that's an invitation. Okay. Ideals are ways in which you pretend that the illusion can give you what you and all already are. So I did say that, but let's look at ideals for a moment. Because what are we doing? What are we doing with our day? Are we working toward ideals? Are we trying to loop in the high juice and stay and avoid the low juice and stay in the high juice? It's all juice. So this is my opportunity today I can feel the tension and the stress of the ideal. I can feel the tension and the stress of straining toward the ideal. An ideal that I'm trying really hard to experience for myself, and I have no thought of anyone else. And seeing that, feeling that, I can then vacation from it and maybe leave it and see it as unnecessary. The ego would tell us that ideals, like ideals of good behavior, are what keep us safe. They also keep us controlled and limited. So some of the time that I've been devoting to enacting or maintaining ideals can be shifted toward, why don't I just observe what's already here? Why don't I relax into and notice what's already here and what never required an ideal to exist? So that temptation of the ideal is something I can take a moment to notice today, instead of continuing to act from that engine in pursuit of the ideal. I can take a moment to notice the pursuit and to drop down out of it, and then to see where we go from there. And that often seems like new territory. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's next. You're not controlling it. Not as a separate self. The separate self and its seeming wants and needs, they're not the engine. The power is here, and it's shared, thank goodness, and it's benign, thank goodness. And it is the resource we can rely upon. It will give us any thoughts we need. So all of us have this guiding light, which is the actual peace within us, not the peace we think we get after taking a hit of our stimulant, whether it's the stimulant of having a safe, separate identity and being the low one, the one who is abused or ignored or unfortunate. That is actually a stable, safe identity according to ego. At least I know who I am, and it's this. This is me. Or whether it's seems to be the higher identity of, I am successful, I am this, I am that, I have this, I have that. I have this amount of inequality of attention from others. That's just another separate self, but it's really the same thing. A separate self is a separate self. So here we are today. The truth of us is just the peace we are, and that peace is very, very powerful. And I can stop to put that peace in charge many, many times today. And that will bring me happiness. And then I can drop out of the struggle of the whole juice stimulant thing. Whether I'm trying to stimulate high or low, it doesn't matter. I can drop out. And that's a relief. Okay, thanks.